Okay, hey everybody, AC here, and welcome to another terrible theory. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn the fan off. Turn the fan off. Uh, the AC in my room doesn't work very well, so I gotta get my air conditioning wherever I can. I don't know what it is about the air conditioning for my room. It doesn't work very well for some reason. But in this video, I'm here to talk about that new Breath of the Wild 2 trailer because I have watched it over and over and over again. One thing has stuck out to me. One major thing has stuck out to me that I'm not sure anyone else has noticed yet. Uh, Check out Link's arm in two separate parts of the trailer. The part where he is uh, on the surface and in the combination of the Hylian tunic and the Champion's tunic that we see in Breath of the Wild. Check out his arm during the section like that, and then check it out again when he's in the sky, when he's falling down from the sky. The arm looks different. In On the surface, his arm it looks good. It looks fine. It looks good. Like it's definitely a different arm. Like Link's original arm definitely got messed up, and this is his new arm. But it definitely looks new. It looks new. Even if it's artificial, it still looks decent. Where if you look at the arm that he has when he's falling, it looks very worn down. It looks very worn down, like it's something that's been used for years. So, what gives? What gives? Exactly what happened between point A and point B? Did something happen? I think the reason why we never see Link's face when in the sky uh, I've heard this theory that it might that it some people think that it might not be Link, that it might be Zelda. And while that is a possibility, I don't think that's what's going on here. I I personally think that what we are seeing there is Link, but a different version of Link, a past version of Link. I believe that what we are seeing there in the sky is the Link from 10,000 years ago. The Link that originally defeated the Calamity. The first time Ganondorf became the Calamity. We are seeing that. We are seeing that version of Link beat the Calamity. We are seeing that version of Link beat the Calamity. And I think that what is happening is I believe that when Link on the surface as Link on the surface travels throughout the world, he finds new versions of the enemies, new bokoblins, new bokoblins, and new moblins, enemy encampments on top of stone taluses, and possibly even brand new enemies that we haven't seen yet. Maybe Breath of the Wild 2 will introduce things like wall masters and tektites and redeads and dark nuts. Like we might get stuff like that. That'll be really cool. That'll be awesome. Um, and at one shot of the trailer, we see some kind of weird thing on the ceiling that's like trying to grab him. Um, uh, what was that? What was that other? What was that one enemy called? What was the enemy called? Uh, uh, like. That's what it was. A like. I think that that thing we see on the ceiling that's trying to like get Link, I think that's a like. Like that's immediately where my brain went when I saw that thing. I thought that was like a new version of a like. Like that's what likes look like in Breath of the Wild, in the world of Breath of the Wild. Like that'd be so cool. Like they're no longer just wandering around on the ground. They're now on the ceiling, waiting for you to go over them so they can just come down and just grab your gear and just yank it from you so you're defenseless. That's cool. Um, so I personally think that that is a likely. That's what I personally believe. I believe that enemy we see Link fighting in the trailer is a like. Um, and I think the reason why the only time we ever get to see Link on the surface use that new arm of his, the only time we get to see him use it is when he's using a Sheikah rune. And it looks like the Sheikah runes have been updated to where now like you can actually get like pike balls that are rolling downhill to suddenly roll uphill. Like you're reversing the time of it. Um, so it looks like the runes have been updated to now do even more stuff than they could before, and that's awesome. That's really cool. Um, and I think that Link is trying to get to various points of the world, um, where I think that the spirit that possessed his arm and gave his arm that new look. I think that's the spirit of his predecessor, the previous hero who fought Calamity Ganon, and I think that it's trying to guide him to these different locations around the world and show him the events that took place 10,000 years ago. I believe that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to have a major focus on the events of 10,000 years ago, on the how the calamity first came about. I think that I think that once we get to one of these points that we're being led to, then Link will go into a bit of a meditative state, and we will see him become like a drop of what we will see him become a drop of water, like we see that drop of water suddenly rise up in the trailer. I think that that is Link being integrated into like the Sheikah technology and like rising up, and when it goes into the sky, we are actually but when it goes into the sky and we see Link pop up, that's actually the predecessor, that's the former hero. So we are playing as two separate Links, one from present day and one from 10,000 years past. And I personally think that the game might have uh, the game might have some kind of have some kind of title to reflect that. Um, and I was thinking something like Shadows of the Past, or maybe Malice of the Ancients, or something like that. I think that it's going, or I think it's going to be something similar to that. It's going to have a heavy focus on the calamity, the origin of the calamity in the ancient past. I believe that that is going to be a huge focus in this new game. And that the idea of that is so cool. I love that idea. That is awesome to think about. And yeah, so I truly believe that we are going to get um sorry. I truly believe that we are going to get some kind of dynamic where it's going to be vastly different gameplay when you're up in the sky versus when you're on the surface. I truly do believe that they are going to be vastly different types of gameplay. One thing that would be cool that came to mind is what if um, what if the the two different kinds of gameplay were on the surface, you're playing the Breath of the Wild style gameplay, where in the sky, they suddenly switch it to being more similar to older Zelda games, such as Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, Skyward Sword, so on and so forth. So you have a more nostalgic gameplay up in the sky, with how things used to work, and then you have the newer gameplay on the surface. So in the sky, your weapons, like the weapons of the past, don't break. The weapons of the past don't break. You're with the same weapon. You're with the same group of weapons throughout that whole experience. And then you go to these like temples in the sky that are actually their own dungeons. Um, and then on the surface, you are battling all these different new monsters, new and returning monsters, and the returning monsters are a lot stronger than they were in Breath of the Wild, and they have new ways of fighting you. I think that that is a major possibility. Um, will it happen? I don't know. Maybe. I hope so. Um, that would be a very, very cool dynamic. But even if not, I still do believe that it is going to be two links: present day Link and a Link from 10,000 years prior. And if that is the case, Nintendo won't be able to avoid giving us a timeline placement. Because the reason why they were able to get away with not giving us a timeline placement for Breath of the Wild was because it takes place 10,000 years, 10,000 years in the future. It takes place 10,000 years in the future, and so they were just like, oh, it's just at the very end of the timeline, but we're not going to say which time. We're not going to say which timeline. But here, if that is what's going to happen, that we're going to see what happened 10,000 years ago, then if we're going to see the first war against the Calamity, if we're going to see the first war against the Calamity, then it's going to be unavoidable. They won't be able to avoid giving it a timeline placement because it will suddenly be close to when the first Hyrule Warriors game took place. Which, like, for anyone who knows my theory on that, who knows my theory on that, Age of Calamity, when you 100% the game, it straight up says like the outfit that you get is the outfit from the original Hyrule Warriors game, and it straight up says that it was a tunic worn from an ancient hero that fought in war. And so Age of Calamity, that is a canon Zelda game right there, and it's straight up saying that the events of Hyrule Warriors happened. So this is a canon Zelda game saying Hyrule Warriors is canon. So, uh, and I go a lot more into detail, and I even read off the actual text for you guys in that video. So go check that out. I'm very happy with that video. But yeah, so and this theory still holds up. That theory still holds up, even with this added to it. Because my theory was that like the the war against Ganondorf, was in Hyrule Warriors, and then he turned into the Calamity, and another war happened to seal him away. And that still holds up. That theory still holds up for now. So like we'll see if it still holds up like what by the time Breath of the Wild 2 actually releases. But for now, that theory still holds water. But yeah, like we know that Hyrule Warriors does take place in the child timeline. So that it takes place at the end of the child timeline and just kind of merges all the timelines together. So that's where my theory kind of went. That I figured that there was going to be a new United timeline, which was Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild 2. And that's the new reunited timeline. And I do think I still think that that's the case. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you think that the game is going to have two links? Do you think that there's going to be some kind of like mind melding where present day Link is seeing the events of the past and seeing what his predecessor did? And would you like to see, if that is the case, would you like to see the predecessor Link go through dungeons in a similar fashion to old Zelda games? Like the sky is the old style of gameplay, where the surface is the new style of gameplay. That would be such a cool merge of the two types of gameplay for Zelda games. That would be so cool. I would absolutely love that. Please let me know in the comment box below what you think and what your theories are on Breath of the Wild 2. I would love to talk more about this trailer. It was so good. I love it. But until the next video, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good jazz. And I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everybody.